Hello. How are you?
Over my lifetime, I have seen very significant societal changes. Probably one of the most significant, and one that is increasingly concerning people today, is the rise of artificial intelligence. In short, I believe that the rise of powerful AI will be either the best thing, or the worst, ever to happen to humanity. I have to say now, that we do not yet know which. But we should do all we can to ensure that its future development benefits us and our environment.
Artificial intelligence, robotics, automation, ideas that incite a dystopian view of the world, things that we've seen in films or even learned to fear. Robotics have emerged in the pharmaceutical, automotive, and, in recent years, the food industry at a rapid rate. Yet the question as to who this benefits is far from being answered.
The question is this good for humanity?
5 years before the internet, could anyone have imagined?
So it's definitely freaky. I don't like it.
Robots are going to get out of control, run amok, Westworld.
Technology is bursting forth at a very high rate, but then it'll change. So we don't know. We don't know about the future.
To the people that are trying to replace me with a robot, I would say that trying to do that, it's solutionism at its worst. It's trying to it's the answer to a problem that's not there, that's non-existent.
Although the resistance of robotic involvement is part of today's popular culture, it is something we've been doing since before any of the technology we see today existed.
It goes very, very far back to the ancient history. If you go back to the ancient Greeks, up through myths of the Middle Ages, Frankenstein, way back when the first industrial machines came about in the weaving industry, there were the Luddites who would basically break up the machines, and because they would attack them, they would sabotage by sticking their shoe into the machine. So I understand that, but what's interesting was that because the weaving got more efficient, it turned out that there were actually many more jobs. So it actually ended up being beneficial for workers. And I really believe that robots can enhance workers rather than replacing them. I almost call it a mass delusion that the robots are coming, that they're going to take over, and that this is the end of our future. But it's been predicted over and over again through literally over hundreds of years that there's technology is about to take over. And it won't. This time is no different.
And this displacement has already occurred around the Bay Area. One example is Pour Tap Room, an automated brewery in Santa Cruz.
My name's Chris Reno, and I'm one of the co-owners and general manager of Pour Tap Room Santa Cruz. This whole enterprise is pretty much entirely automation, but I didn't start this with the desire to eclipse the human element. It is entirely the truth that instead of getting rid of beer tenders, I've moved them from behind the bar just out onto the floor.
My name is Lexi, and I'm a beer tender. I would say that this technology enhances my job because it gives people more of an opportunity to kind of explore themselves, but it's definitely a dichotomy where it's like what becomes too much with technology and what's taking over, and where it's completely replacing human interaction. And
I think there will always be a check and balance, like within kind of within humanity, to not let computers take over. I think they kind of insidiously do. Hang on, I got a text. I'm just kidding. That's an example of like the eclipsing of human interaction. And there's time and a place for that, but then we also have to learn to govern our uses of it. When people come in, sometimes they say, oh, this is the future. And I say, wow, it's part of the future. It's not the whole future. You know, the classic beer tender behind the bar pouring your beer for you. That will never go away. I hope it never goes away.
My name is Nicholas Lawler. I am a bartender at Piazza D'Angelo's. People go to bars, or really just go out in general, just to have like social interaction with other people, to meet other people, to talk to the bartender, whatever. So I really think that machines really take away a part of the bar that's been there forever.
The most important thing I think to understand about human beings and human interaction is that we're attachment creatures. We can put on to mechanical, like robots, are needs for human interaction. It can probably satisfy part of our need for companionship and for connection, but I don't think it will ever supplant having a real live person.
I can tell you, the last thing I want is for a robot to serve me dinner. We were just at a restaurant the other night in Sausalito, and we had this great waiter. It was his personality and the reaction he had to what we ordered and his advice, and he came by and he said, just wait a few more minutes, it'll come. And he was just had a great personal manner. That is really important.
You can talk to a human about your different tastes. Like whenever everyone's asked, like, I don't know what I want to drink, I'll ask them, oh, well, what kind of flavors do you like? Do you like something sweet, something stronger? I'll try and put that into a drink. And you can't have that same interaction with a robot.
If we start losing our human interactions and we forget to keep our interactions with humans up, then we're in trouble.
However, when we can successfully combine our intrinsic human nature with the positive aspects of technological advancement, we can coexist and progress with automation.
When it's working together and coinciding with each other, I think that it is progress.
I want to say to your generation, don't worry.
I don't think we'll ever be entirely owned by machines.
That robots can be incredibly helpful, but they're never going to replace humans.
Human service is super important. That kind of personal communication, that empathy, is very subtle. We have no idea how to do that with robots, and I don't think we will anytime in the future.